Hey everybody, it's Strict9 with Strict9 GP, and welcome back to another episode of my Out of the Park 21 playthrough with the Cubs. Just finished the draft, and man, the drafts are so different with this version. It's hard to really even describe it, I guess, if you haven't played previous versions, but it is really like scraping the bottom of the barrel after, I'd say, the first 10 rounds. I'm playing with the latest updated version too, so I think they have released a few patches to address or maybe change some draft settings. But it may even take me starting a new actual playthrough to see much improvement in it. I kind of, I guess I'm kind of, there's some positives and negatives to it. I don't know how I completely feel about it. I think it's great that it's a challenge, and on the one hand, you really have to pour over those draft reports and rely on your scout and OSA scouting and just look at all kinds of things. One of the things I've tried to look at in the draft, for instance, and I'll just go ahead and show you my top picks here. These are the only picks I believe who are going to require money, if I'm not mistaken, like a signing bonus. But for instance, one of the things I've been looking at, this was my top pick, a pitcher who OSA thinks is 3 stars. I think is 3 stars. I liked him because he had, 5 pitches that can potentially be in the positive. But one of the things I've even started looking at with the draft is there is a competition level. And I guess I should have probably thought a little bit more about this one, when I made him my first pick. But I've even gone so far as to dive down that far when I'm doing the draft. If everything's equal and you're looking at a lot of 2.5 star potential players, maybe the competition level will make a difference. He went to a small school. I'm not really, even though I'm putting a lot of money into him, I'm not really thinking he's going to add much. I mean, this guy may not make it. Jaden Brown, another one, he was one of the guys who 2 star potential, but I like his speed. I like some of his potential ratings. But again, I started looking at things like competition level, which he's coming out of Kentucky. Competition for him in the SEC was great. I'm hoping that makes a difference. I don't know, but it's when you're getting past the first, I'd say, 10 picks of the draft, and sometimes even sooner than that. Like for us, this was a 7th overall pick. I mean, think about that. 7th overall pick, and my scout thinks he's a 2.5 star potential. It's just, unlike previous versions, you can't really depend on getting some good quality players the further down you go. And it's a challenge, and I'm hoping it's going to turn out okay. If I look at my minor league system report, for instance, well, no, let me look at the overall the league's minor league rankings. We're getting pretty far down here. We've only got 2 players who show up in the top 100, and one of these is on our roster right now, on our active roster. So he's not going to be a prospect after this season, I would think. And by the way, he's having a great season. Brennan Davis, who I've talked about previously, his ratings aren't that great. He's a 3 star potential, but he performs at every level. And so he's doing it again this year. He's looking really good, getting most of the starts, I think at right field. But the draft is, man, just really, really tough. I can't say it any other way. I can't really stress it enough. It's going to be, if you're playing Out of the Park 21 and haven't noticed this yet, you're probably going to start. But I would expect you are noticing it, because it's so hard to draft. I'd say, like in the past, for instance, you're almost guaranteed of getting a everyday starter in that first round eventually, if unless they run into injury problems or something like that that hinders their development. It's rare in previous versions, for me anyway, that I would draft someone in the first round and they wouldn't make it to the majors at some point. Now it seems like it's a total crapshoot, and it's gonna be tougher to manage your minors. You're gonna have to really stay on top of how they're performing, look at all their development, all those scouting reports, who's getting hot, who's improving their ratings and things like that, and just act on it really quick. Yeah, I think you're going to have to, as soon as you see a guy getting ready to move up, you got to move him up. Like this guy, Roederer at Double A, I've already moved him up this season from High A when he was doing really well. So I'm trying to be proactive, stay on top of it, so that my minors don't turn into a lot of one-star potential players and I'm just out of luck, 2-3 years down the line. But other than the draft, I got to say, we're playing pretty well. Knock on wood, we've won 7 of 10. We got Cincinnati kind of knocking on our door there, but we've got a half-game lead in the Central. St. Louis has struggled. They're not, even though they've got the team that I would expect to win. I don't know if maybe there's some injuries. Looks like some guys are underperforming. Mookie Betts, Real Muto, Suarez. Those guys aren't having great seasons. And then they've got a pretty decent starter who's going to be gone for a while. I don't know if they called him up, but 2.5 stars. He's got good ratings individually. They've also got Dylan Carlson, who has been a pretty good player in the Phillies playthrough that I'm running. But he's still in the minors, but he's out for a while. So I don't know why they're really struggling. Got a great pitching staff. But hopefully we can keep playing like that. We'll take a look at the individual numbers and hopefully play up to around the All-Star break in this one. But let's take a look at the pitching staff first off. Big signing, of course, in the offseason was Syndergaard. He's looking good. Just hasn't been picking up a lot of wins. Just 5 wins, on pace for 13. But he's got a low ERA, low WHIP. I can't see FIP on this one, but here, where did I see FIP? I think it's here. Pretty good there. I think he's doing what you would typically expect him to do. We just got to get him some offense. Kyle Hendricks, Corey Abbott's back in that starting lineup. I think I had some injuries to deal with. I've just put Tyson Miller up there. I'm hoping that he does okay. He was called up from Iowa. He's not going to be starting, but I'm hoping that he's going to help us with some injuries. Austin Adams still struggling really for the closer, and I think it's the control rating. His ERA is really high. He does have 14 saves, but he's in the negative as in terms of wins above replacement. A lot of walks, 22 and 22 innings. That's not going to cut it. So I think we're probably heading for a fall. It might be time to think about moving Ibarra into the closer role. Not sure how it's going to play out. Elledge is also looking really good. He can potentially take over as a closer. I think right now I've got him as a stopper, so he'll pick. No, he's not a stopper. He's actually in the middle. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should think about putting him up there, but I like that. For the middle relief guys, I try to look for guys with 3 pitches. He's got 3 strong pitches. He'd like to be in the starting rotation, but his stamina is too low. But if Adams keeps tanking a little bit, I may be looking for another option as the closer. Justin Wilson, I don't see him being that. I think he's settled into the role that he's in. He's pitching pretty well. Honeywell, junior guy I traded for, he's a 3-star pitcher. This is about a middle-of-the-road type starter. I like the year that he's having. Hopefully his movement will advance a little bit. He's still just 27. Maybe he's got some development left, but he's going to give up a lot of home runs, on pace for 35. But he's doing pretty well. Hendricks already losing ground in some of his ratings. The only positive pitch rating he has is his changeup. He has 6 wins, on pace for 15, but I think he's it's just a matter of time, I think, before he starts tanking. Still got him for another season at least. On the lineup side, Caratini is having a great season. Not much in terms of production wise. He's not going to hit a lot of home runs, but he is doing well. I've mentioned him before as a trade option because I think Amaya is really ready to go both defensively and offensively. Just going to give it a little bit more time as we get closer to the All-Star break or the trading deadline, so I can see what I need to pick up. The rest of the team, though, Rizzo's looking pretty good. Horner's looking really good, bouncing back from an off year. Clement, who I signed to be mainly a backup, he's looking really good. This guy, I think for whatever reason, he plays well. His ratings really do translate anyway into good performances, both in this playthrough and the other one I got going. Rojas has had a pretty decent season. He's got a little bit of a small injury going on. But then outside of him, I mean, Brennan Davis, those are the big offensive guys. Ian Happ's still struggling. Hazley, he's given me a pretty good performance. I mean, he's going to give you good defense, good speed for the most part. He's not going to have a lot of power numbers or anything like that. I think he's still good enough to start. Hayward, non-existent, hitting 140. I'm almost positive this is the last season he'll have with me. I'm just going to have to eat that last season of his contract. If I look at injuries, that's where it gets a little bit tough. We lost Darvish for the year. We got Inciarte, who's still out for 3 months. Those, I think, happened in that last episode. Alzolay, if he comes off, he's going to come off around the All-Star break. May give him some time once I look at him in AAA on like a rehab assignment. He may take over and get that 5th spot in the rotation. Wyatt Short, not sure if he's going to make it. He had a pretty decent year last year, but he's injured for a while, another 6 weeks. So 2 big injuries there that have hurt us and are probably, as we start playing out some more games, or it's probably going to start moving us down in the standings because of that. But we got Pittsburgh. We just won a pretty big game offensively, 10-8. Last game of the series against them. I'd like to at least win this series. This is the rubber game. And what happened there? Oh, it went to the All-Star voting, which has started. I haven't really taken the time to vote on anybody. Anthony Rizzo is getting some votes on the team. Syndergaard getting some votes. And then Elledge is top vote getter on the reliever side. So I'm probably going to get 2 or 3. Yeah, I would say 2 or 3 All-Stars, hopefully, if it keeps up. So last game against Pittsburgh, oh my gosh, 18-10. And look at this, Rizzo, 8 RBIs. Holy cow. Rojas had a home run. Rizzo had 2. So that probably gave him most of the RBIs. But look at that, man. Davis, 2 for 2. Hazley scored 4 runs. Rojas, 3 for 5. Clement, 3 for 5. Patterson, who, yeah, he had a very tough game. 8 runs and 3 1/3. I don't think he's going to do much. Miller, gosh, he bombed in his first outing with us. But the rest of the bullpen looked pretty good. And now, that was the end of the week, so I'm going to take a look here and see. So Dickerson, he was, I think, my 3rd pick in the draft, 5th pick. Again, 2-star potential. I'm not expecting anything from that. Players of the week, Jordan Alvarez and Cody Bellinger, no surprise there. And we are 6th in team rankings. And a personal message, Rojas is injured, so I'm going to have to put him on the DL. It's a 10-day DL still for this one, but I'm going to take a look, too, at the waiver wire Offensively, not much. Pitching, still not much. So who do we have to bring up? We've got Ademan, Short, who played a little bit last year. Didn't really. So it's really between Ademan and Short. Short can play second and shortstop. Not too great in terms of contact. He's not even hitting 200 in the. I guess I'd have to go with Ademan, honestly, of those two. But I think that means Clement is probably, unless I want to go with Walls. The thing about Clement, I like Clement as a backup. I don't think he performs as well when he's starting, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have him try it. And then that'll put Taylor Walls as the backup at short, let's say every 6th game. And then he can play second for Horner. And then I'll put Ademan at third. No, I'll put Walls at third. Let Ademan back up second. And probably because of Ademan's speed, I think he's going to be a good option, at least for now, to have. I'm going to set his strategy to have him running a little bit more when he's on base. I think I'll put him as the pinch runner in place of Clement. And I guess Ademan's going to have to take over Clement's place as a pinch hitter. Boy, that doesn't look too great. But Clement, I'll have him leading off here. I don't see why not. And then Tall every 5th game. And then just have Ademan kind of as like a insurance policy. He's probably not going to get much time until Rojas is off the DL. And then same here, Clement at short with Ademan getting some time, and mostly as a pinch hitter though, like I say. And I know this takes a while to do, but like, if you've watched my playthroughs, I like to manage just about everything to do with these lineups. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. So Miller, Walls, Ademan, I guess Amaya. And then last one, Clement's going to start and lead off against lefties. So that means Taylor Walls will be backing him up. Let's see, every 5th game. I guess the big question, not that it's going to be a whole lot of time or a whole lot of games, but who's going to be the DH? I don't want it to be Hayward for sure. I mean, against lefties, he's terrible. I mean, Amaya, I really need him to be the catcher and first baseman backing up if I need it. So, gosh, would it be Miller? No. Taylor Walls. Ademan. What the heck. I'm just going to put Ademan here. All right, let's see if that works out okay. First game against Arizona on the road. Big win, 11-5. Segura, who's been struggling this year. 2 for 2, though, in this game. Caratini, 5 RBIs. So he continues to hit. Horner the same way. He was 3 for 4. He continues to hit. And then Syndergaard, an off game for him. 5 runs and 3 2/3, but our bullpen managed to hold on and win it. Game 2 against Arizona, good win, 4-3. I kind of like those kind of scores because it's enough offense for the most part. 4 runs, you average 4 runs a game. That's pretty good average. But 3 runs, that means our pitching's doing well. Amaya, again, off the bench, looked good. And then pitching-wise, Abbott should have gotten the start, the win, although he did walk sixth. Adams, he picked up that save, but look at those walk numbers are 24 and a 187 whip. It's just a matter of time, really, before he blows up. So last game against Arizona, can we sweep them? We do, 6-1, even better. Brennan Davis, another good game, 3 for 5. Horner with 3 RBIs, and then Hendricks, 8 1/3 innings, just 1 run. So great series. Now we're going to be on the road against Los Angeles. We're still in first place, 10 games above 500, and we lose to the Dodgers 7-8, but we're going to have a big injury to deal with. Brennan Davis, a good game here. Hazley was injured, but I'm going to take a look at that. If it's Nishioka, guy I was also hoping to be a closer, really bad outing from him. If Hazley is just a minimal, and it is, I'm going to leave him in there. At this point, I have no one that I can pull from the minors. I mean, maybe Roederer, and he's injured, so I don't really want to go that far down in the minors to call somebody up. And if I look at the waiver wire, we do have a left fielder here, and Tom, he can play all 3 positions. I mean, is it really worth picking up a guy like this? He has 1 option year left. I don't foresee him starting, though. I mean, he's going to be a backup. He would be better than Miller. Ian Miller just gives you... Well, he wouldn't really be that much better than Miller. And I like Miller's speed. I'm just going to ride it out. Hopefully Hazley won't get injured anymore, but it's going to be hard to see. Another 1-run loss, 5-6. He's playing well, even though he's injured. Now he's moderate. Strained oblique. I know it's stupid, probably, to let this guy continue, but... And Patterson, boy, another bad outing from him. Let me finish this series and then see what we're going to have to do here. And a good win to end it, 7-1. Walls leading off 3 for 5. He's looked good off the bench. Segura, Rizzo, Hazley 4 for 4. It's like he's playing better after he's gotten injured. Another good outing from Syndergaard. Players of the week, let me take a look at some of those. Rowdy Tellez, the American League, Gavin Sheets. And then we are 7th now in power ratings, and we're just barely hanging on again above Cincinnati. So we're going to be Tampa Bay at home. They're leading the American League East. So this is going to be a tough series. And then we got Baltimore. I think it's just a 2-game series, though. Game 1, shutout 5-0. No big surprise. Hazley got a hit. Segura 2 for 3. Abbott 5 runs. Bullpen looking really good. I mean, if I take a look at the team stats, bullpen ERA is 4th in the National League. I mean, until you get to the walks, I mean, we're top 10, top 5 in a lot of categories in pitching. So we're probably outperforming our ratings right now. And we managed to win here against Tampa Bay 6-5. So it was just a 2 games, so we did split it. Hazley had a couple RBIs in this game. Horner 3 for 5. And then pitching, Hendricks was just blasted. 2/3 of an inning, 5 runs. He was pulled before he got through that first inning. And once again, bullpen. That's how many innings is that? 11 innings shutout. 11 innings of shutout pitching from our bullpen. So now that Rojas is coming off, I'm just going to give him a short rehab. He wasn't out very long. See where they put him in the lineup. They should put him at short. They do. No, they put him at second. I don't know why, but we'll let it go and give him maybe a week, maybe even 4 games, and then call him back up for Edelman. And now we've got Baltimore, 3 games at home, 8 to 9 extra innings in the first one. Segura, 4 RBIs. Davis, another great game. Even Hazley, another great game. He's down to 3 weeks on his injury time. Honeywell, it's the starters, I'm telling you. They're just not good enough. And he's one of the guys I'm really depending on outside of Syndergaard. So just 1 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs. Game 2 against Baltimore, 3 to 5. And we're now in second place. So I'm assuming Cincinnati's past us. Segura, he's still hitting well. He's on a hot streak here. Rizzo, Caratini, all with multiple hits. Syndergaard, what can I say? I mean, this is 3 pitching performances this week. These guys are not getting out of the first inning. That's going to kill us. So let's go to this last game against Baltimore and see if we can eke out a win. We do 2-1. Finally probably got a good starting performance from somebody, and it was Patterson, believe it or not. 6 shutout innings. He didn't get the win, though. Again, that bullpen, great week for the bullpen, but we're back in first place. I bet we're tied. I'm gonna take a look at it. And it looks like Paddock is down for San Diego, gone for the season. Victor Robles out for 2 weeks for Washington. Players of the Week, Guerrero Jr. again, Gavin Lux, and we are down to 9th. So even though we're hanging tough in the Central, we're tied with St. Louis is starting to play well. So we got 3 teams here tied for first. I still think it's going to be St. Louis at the end of the day, but it would be nice if we could at least make the wild card. Take a look at a couple things here. Waiver wire first. I really need pitching. Don't really see much. Brendan Macklin, he just hasn't had enough major league experience for me to gamble on him. And Alex Lang doesn't look too bad, but he hasn't, ratings wise anyway. I don't like that control though. So let me take a look now. Is Rojas ready to go? He got 4 games, hitting .412. I think he is. So Ademan, well, he had a nice little call up there, but going to put Rojas back in there at short, and I'm just going to do the same thing I've been doing here. I'll let Clement start every 6 games, and then Clement's going to be the backup. I'll give him like every 7th game. So Horner's playing so good. I don't want to mess with him too much. And you see there too, he struggled as soon as I made him a starter. And guy's great off the bench. He's just not ready to be an everyday starter is the deal with him. So now lefties, Rojas again. I'll let Clement come in there every 5 games. Hopefully, I think if he's in every 6 game, I feel like if he's kind of babied a little bit, he's going to perform well. He's been a backup in my Phillies playthrough for years. I just keep re-upping the guy. He's so good off the bench. And last little move here I'm going to make, and I may have to adjust. I didn't think about it, but I may have to adjust the lineups because I don't know where Rojas is going to be now. Against lefties, yeah, he doesn't need to be starting. I don't think he needs to be leading off against lefties, does he? Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll let him stay there. And then last one against lefties with a DH. And I'm going to put Clement as the DH. And we'll keep it like that. And Walls is going to back up. Rojas. All right, so on the road against Miami for 4. Game 1, we win 4-1, but it's extra innings. 2 hits from Caratini, Rizzo, Segura. Tyson Miller got a hit and scored a run. That's pretty good. Abbott, good outing from him, but again, it's that bullpen that's having to win these games when we're winning. Game 2 against Miami, 4-0. Just one hit in the game. That was from Segura. Segura this month is hitting .312, 5 home runs. That's a pretty good month from him, but Hendricks wasn't too bad. Alcantara had a great game for Miami. Finally win again, 3-2. Happ had a couple RBIs, but his average is down to 216. His ratings are better than that. I know he's going to strike out a lot, but I think after this season I'm going to be looking for an upgrade for him. I know he's got great personality ratings. I was hoping last year it was just a matter of the pitching coach maybe having not much of an impact on the team. So I did upgrade at pitching coach. Hitting coach, and I got a guy with a great rating. And really should, even though he's neutral, I was hoping that he would make an impact on some of these guys. But in the case of Happ, it's just not happening. Pitching wise, Honeywell had a pretty decent game here. Adams' 17th save, his ERA is down below 5, but another walk in this one. He has got his whip down to 161, and he's positive. So maybe he'll start turning it around. So last game against Miami, a big win, 5-1. That's what we needed to see. Good series, really, overall. Rizzo, 17 home runs, 50 RBIs for the season. So that's a good pace for him. So still glad that I kept him, although I think, he's going to start tailing off eventually. Just maybe, hopefully I'll get another 2 years out of him. Syndergaard, a good outing here, 7 2/3, 1 earned run. And we're midway of the season for the most part, 80 games. Garrett Richards, I don't know why anybody would have signed him. He's out again for the year. $20 million almost for a 1-year contract. Kershaw gets his 200th win, but he's all but done with these ratings and just 34. I think it may have been injuries, but he's just a 1.5 star rated pitcher for my scout. And hey, what do you know? Strasburg, he's out for 2 months. PM from the owner, he's happy that we're playing well. He's happy that we brought in Rojas and Inciarte, even though he's going to be gone for most of the year. Looks like he's happy with us. Got a few guys in the minors who are going to be out of their contracts this year. My pace on that is if you wait too late to sign some of the minor guys, if their season ends and you haven't re-signed them, they're gone. So I pretty much get to August and I look through all my personnel and I try to sign them. The ones I want to keep, I sign them then. Otherwise, you're going to lose them forever. Top prospects, we don't have anybody still, and we're 22nd. Not good. Standings-wise, though, we're half game up over Cincinnati. St. Louis lost a couple there in a row. We're going to be playing at Milwaukee. This could be a tough one. Game 1, 4-8. Amaya looked good coming off the bench. Hazley's still hitting well, even though he's been injured for June. He's had a pretty decent June. Patterson, I know one of my viewers has made some comments about Patterson, and I get it. I don't think he's ready to go full time, but I don't have any options. I really don't. Unless I want to trade, I guess, I might be able to work out a trade. But even there, when you don't have a deep minor league system, it hurts you there too because you're not going to have much to trade. Another bad game here. Hazley, couple hits, and that was about it. 4 hits total. Abbott pitched well, 6 innings, 4 runs. But again, that bullpen, I think if I look at the team stats, our bullpen's now 3rd in ERA. They're carrying the pitching staff. Last game against Milwaukee, can we at least win one here? No, shutout 8-0. poor offensive game again. Just 2 hits from Caratini, 5 total, and Hendricks, another bad outing. I think it's starting to, I think it's going to start really caving in pretty soon. Players of the week, Danny Jansen, Alec Baum, who's now, or Bohm, however you say that. In this playthrough, he's starting to play for Philadelphia. It looks like he's got that first base job finally. In the playthrough, I know I keep mentioning that playthrough I'm doing Philadelphia, but if there are any Phillies fans out there and you want to do the playthrough, this guy turns out to be a monster in this game. You can see his ratings right now. I just finished the 2028 season in that playthrough. He had 150 plus RBIs. He gets 40. He's now to the point where he's averaging 40 plus home runs a year. This guy, if he stays healthy in your playthrough, he's one to watch. If you're just starting a playthrough, I would try to trade for this guy if the Phillies will let you. If you're not playing for the Phillies, and if you are playing for the Phillies, it's a little bit early, I guess, in 2020 to start him, but I would move him up as quick as you can because he really turns out to be a great player in this game. And now power rankings, 17th, so that's the lowest we've been. We're 2.5 games back. It's the lowest we've been in a while. St. Louis still losing, but Cincinnati's won 5 in a row. I'm going to try to get through this week, and then that's probably how I'm going to end this episode. We lose against the Dodgers to start. We're at home. Just 3 hits. Honeywell, not a good game. Dodgers are tough to win in this one, too. Tough to beat. Clement got the start here. Got 3 hits. 3 for 3 from Amaya. Syndergaard, pretty decent outing. Picked up his 8th win. Adams, his ERA down to 4.50, 1.53 whip. So he's pitching quite a bit better. Making me feel a little bit better about having him as the closer. Wilson's having a great year. Not putting up a lot of innings, but he might even get some all-star votes. And we lose 1-8. A couple hits from Rizzo, Horner, and Patterson. It's time to really look at an upgrade there, I know. Josh Bell on a 25-game hitting streak. We got a pretty decent, 1.5 stars anyway. Prospect internationally. And we're going to be playing New York, but we're just 6 games above 500. Not looking too good right now. So player development, Seth Elledge, he dropped a little bit, potentially. Austin Adams, his potential ratings went down. His movement went up, but I'd really like to see that control go up. Caratini moved up a little bit, so yeah. He's got 1 more year of arbitration, I think. And, do I trade Amaya? That's the question there. Rojas lost some speed. Chris Clark is injured. I don't see much of an upside to him. This guy looks pretty good. Jose Campos at high A right now. Decent first baseman. Decent third baseman. I'm just not, like I was saying with the draft, it's just, I don't have those 4 and 5 star potential players on this team, and it's killing me. Because I don't think you can, it puts you in a hole because you can't really trade, especially if you get to a point like this Cubs team is where you have a lot of high price veteran players. You can't really trade for the kind of players that you need. Cody Bellinger was Player of the Month in the National League. Lindor in the American. Alec Bohm, again, he was Rookie of the Month in the National League. I was hoping that this would be the year we turned it around, and I still think maybe we can push to a winning record, but I'm starting to get worried. We do win against the Yankees at home. Pretty good win, 3-1. Segura, a couple hits. He cooled off a little bit after that hot streak. Davis has cooled off quite a bit. Abbott finally got a win. He's been pitching well. 4 wins for him on the season. Adams, another save. Game 2 against New York. Oh, and we do have the International Complex. Forgot about that. So, how are we doing in budget? About the same in terms of money for free agents and extensions, but don't know what that is. Let me see. This is a good looking second baseman here. I mean, my scout is really high on him. I'm gonna see if I can. I'll see if he'll take that, but it may take the full $5 million. But I could use some help for sure. If I can't draft him, I need to get him somewhere. Game 2, we lose 9-1. Terrible outing. Stanton, 30 home runs, but 204 batting average. Hendricks, another bad outing from him, and then Elledge gave up 4 in the bullpen. And last game against New York, 2-3. Luckily, Alzolay is eligible to come off the injured list, so he might be someone I can get to take the place of Patterson. I still like the way the bullpen's doing. I mean, here's another one where we had the bullpen came in, didn't give up a run, but we're either not scoring or just getting hammered early in a lot of these games. In terms of All-Star voting, it looks like Caratini's getting quite a few votes there. Not too far away from the second spot. Rizzo's getting some votes. I'm not seeing too many others. Syndergaard and Elledge. I think Syndergaard's probably going to make the All-Star team. Players of the Week, Bichette and Acuna Jr. No surprise from him. And then we're all the way down to 19th. Just 5 games over 500, but still, we're 2 games back in third place. So it's going to be, I think we're going to have to make a trade, and I don't know what I'm going to do to get it. So if I look at upcoming free agents, don't have anybody on the offensive side. Justin Wilson is looking too good. I really need to keep him. And then prospects. Well, let me do one thing real quick. Look at Alzolay. I mean, his ratings aren't that great, but I'm gonna send him to a rehab assignment. And let's take a look at the trading block. And I'm gonna look at all starters first. We got Sonny Gray. He's gonna be probably too overpriced. 3 stars. Still, he's a free agent. No, he's got a team option. I mean, he would be an upgrade over what we have, but he's coming off really 2-3 pretty poor seasons. My scout thinks he's probably a second starter. I don't know about that, but he is. At the moment, he's the best starter available. I mean, Triggs might be an upgrade over Patterson as well. His stuff's not too good, but he does have 3 pretty solid pitches. He's looked good this year for San Francisco. He's pretty low contract. He is arbitration eligible, though, after the season. But let's just say I gamble on Sonny Gray. Let's see what I could do. So, of course, Amaya, he's going to be... A lot of teams are going to be interested in him. But, I mean, I got some guys here I could give up with really no real problems. I want to kind of make it pretty fair, too. I don't want to give up too much, but like Short, for instance, who's at Iowa, I would give him away. At the very best, he's going to be a backup, a bench player, and I like Walls just a little bit better. So I think I could do that, but it's going to hurt us. Available money, I say it's going to hurt us. It's not going to hurt us that bad. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because we need the help right now. So what that means is, in terms of who I'm going to send down, so I'm going to have to go with 13 pitchers. I think Jack Patterson really, as a reliever, he's about the same as either a reliever or a starter. But if I look at his splits, he's really struggled as a starter. 17 games, 5.65 ERA. But that's probably going to... No, he's been Chicago the whole time. I mean, will it not give me... Has he... Yeah, he has only started this year. Now, Tyson Miller, he's looking really good too. I think he's probably outperforming what he should be doing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send Tyson Miller back down. And then I'm going to bring up Sonny Gray and probably put him... I'm going to put him in place of Patterson, but probably put him... I think Honeywell's struggling a little bit. Maybe if I move Honeywell down, just give him a breather, maybe. I don't know if that works that way, but we'll say it does. And then have Patterson as long relief, and just see how that goes. I mean, that might be enough to save us, keep us with a winning record anyway, which was, I guess my goal was really to make the wild card, but I definitely want to have a winning record. If the season stopped today, we would be just a game and a half behind the wild card. So as it stands, I mean, we could catch some teams. It's possible we could compete for it. And it's probably about the only trade I'm going to be able to make. I didn't see, usually when the way I do the trades, my ground rules are pretty much I either look at the trading block like I just did, or I just shop a player out there and see what I can get. I don't like gaming it too much. I don't like saying, well, hey, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get Mookie Betts on my team. As long as... If it's a pretty good 1-1 trade, I might do something like that. But again, I usually shop the player, or I look at the trading block and see what they'll take. I don't like going through and just saying, well, let me see who's one of the best pitchers in the game. Let me see if I can finagle some things to pick up that pitcher through a trade. And I know that's probably the way it works in real life, but it seems like it's a little bit easier with trading set to normal to kind of game the AI, and I don't like doing that. So with those pitchers on the trading block, Gray, in my opinion, was still the best one out there. And he's not much of a gamble because he's got a team option this year. So I'm not on the hook for too much for him, but just going back again at the trading block, there's a good looking closer here. He's wanting way too much money though. I'm not gonna go for that. A few decent relievers, 3 stars and above, but I think I've got guys who would probably be comparable to them. I'm not going to trade away for that. Batting, I mean, Tommy Pham could be interesting. He's not having a great season. Really not had too many good seasons here in a row. His ratings, though, are high, and he's just $3 million. So what have I got? The thing is, I mean, Hazley, I think, is good enough to stay as a starter. Hap, though, now if I could trade Hap away, he's got those positive team ratings. I would take a hit probably for like the team's morale, but not sure how, what's going to hurt me more, a bump or a hit to morale or just his continued bad play. But I'd have to bit like Benintendi. He's another guy with a he's got some loyalty issues. It would have to be someone, man, Mike Clevenger. That would be a good pitching trade. He's a player opt-out, but his contract's really generous. But I think I would want to trade Hap kind of for another offensive player. And wow, that's good. Well, he's a 3.5 star potential. Another good starter here in Caleb Ferguson. Although I don't like his stamina. I think I'll play around with this offline. I think Hap is someone that I would be really, at this point, willing to let go. Winker would be, even though he's defensively not that great. I think he's performing a little bit better than Ian Happ right now. And that's the only thing. I mean, that's the only reason why I'd even want to trade Happ is his numbers have been bad now for 2 years in a row. So something's going on that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to fix. Tavares got some decent upside, but again, I'll look at some of these offline. If I can make another trade or two, I will. But for the most part, I'm interested in seeing how that Sonny Gray trade works out. Maybe that'll help us out enough in the pitching to keep us with a winning record. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Likes, comments, everything else. And I will see you next episode.